Here is how to learn any language in 2026. Stop studying like it's 2010, guys. The old ways are archaic and unnatural. I will show you 5 simple steps in order for you to become fluent in any language. So let's cut the BS and dive straight into step 1. Vocabulary. Yes, we still need to learn some vocabulary, but not the old way. Things you need to learn. Vocabulary linked to your specific needs. Conversational vocabulary. So we might use flashcards, books, videos, apps, such as language exchange apps, language apps. The tools matter less than the actual repetition. We have to drill this vocabulary in our mind. 10 minutes every day beats 1 hour or 2 hours every week or 2 weeks. Then once you have a small base, the real work begins. And therefore we have to actually use it. Which leads us into step 2, using AI. Using AI builds confidence. This is the 2026 shift. I only started using ChatGPT recently and I have actually seen way faster progress than I have ever seen before. Because the hardest part about learning languages is actually the confidence. Once you have confidence in actually speaking, it becomes effortless. How to get that confidence? By using ChatGPT or any AI that you might have under your hands. The reason is you don't feel that same pressure, that same embarrassment. We all have had that thing that we have said, even in our mother tongue, that we're like, oh, what did I just say? How embarrassing. But probably 9 times out of 10, you've never said that again because you remember that embarrassment. And you're like, nope, been there, done that, don't want to feel that anymore. So this is why actually learning languages is very difficult when you want to actually use it with real people. So this is where the AI changes everything. You don't have that embarrassment, but you can actually speak to ChatGPT, creating these patterns, creating these muscle mind connections, creating actual conversations and dialogue with ChatGPT, which will therefore give you confidence. You can repeat things over and over, get feedback, and build that confidence. Of course, AI doesn't replace people, but it prepares you for them. And once that confidence starts to build, the next step becomes easier. So here's step number 3. Speak early with people, guys. Like myself, use Ome TV to speak to random people, or use language exchange apps where you can call, video call, or at least send and receive audio messages. My first big break in learning languages was actually using Ome TV. I would just study like 5 minutes, and then as soon as I had all this vocabulary knowledge, I immediately used it with people. Sure, I messed up, but those mistakes made me become more and more confident. There is a Japanese proverb that says, if you fall down 7 times, you get up 8. Nanakorobi yaoki. Where many people lose years on studying in books and trying to memorize these vocabulary, these sentences that actually hardly any people use, which feels actually unnatural during conversations. So they keep studying and studying and they don't see any progress, because languages live through interactions. How did you learn your mother tongue? Did you read when you were 1? No. Did you learn grammar? No. You learned through listening and repeating. Sometimes you make mistakes and then your parents corrected you. And when you actually made a proper sentence, what was the reward? Bravo, baby, bravo. Oh my gosh, he said his first word. This gives a huge boost in dopamine and your brain rewards you. This is the same with learning a new language. Practice makes perfect. 吃一堑长一智. These positive reinforcements creates confidence. Like just saying one sentence in the language and you see that they understood, oh, your confidence skyrockets. You're like, okay, this sentence, this question, they understood it. This is a skill. This particular sentence is acquired. I know how to say it, and you will not be able to forget it. That first time you spoke a new language and they actually understood. How rewarding was that feeling? Amazing, right? And yes, you will make mistakes, as we mentioned previously, and you will feel embarrassment. But guess what? This is how you learn a language. Your body will send all these chemicals, whether it's positive reinforcement with the dopamine because you said something correctly, or the stress from the embarrassment, the cortisol in your brain will say, I don't like that feeling. I don't want to feel it anymore. And you will not make that mistake again. I guarantee you. And this is what leads to fluency. Now, let's dive into step number 4, daily immersion. Whether it's listening to music, watching short videos, podcasts, clips, anime, whatever it might be, having this immersion, this passive learning, your brain starts to recognize patterns without you forcing it. Watching movies with the subtitles is good. You start hearing new vocabulary, learning new vocabulary, seeing the patterns, the grammar, learning new sentences. Excellent. But don't feel the need of learning everything that is being said. This is why listening to podcasts is also helpful, because you don't have the feedback of the subtitles. You're just listening and your brain is starting to figure out the patterns. So watching movies with subtitles, excellent, but also listening actively, passively, but also actively. Trying to figure out without necessarily opening up Google Translate or ChatGPT or whatever it might be. Which leads us to step number 5. As we mentioned, watching movies. Maybe you love watching movies, then that is a great thing. Why? Because what we need to do is combine our passion, our hobbies, and link it to that said language that we're trying to learn. For example, I love anime. Well, that's a perfect way to learn Japanese. You might not learn real Japanese per se, but you're still learning vocabulary. Now, would it be better to watch a movie or program in Japanese or the news? Probably yes. But linking a language to a passion, it adds to the motivation. So when you don't want to really study, you had a horrible day or you're feeling sick, watch that anime. So I'm telling you about anime, but it can be movies, it can be video games, it can be whatever you love. So discipline is number 1. Consistency is key, but the passion makes it that much easier to stick to it. So, in conclusion, how to learn any language in 2026. Learn small but useful vocabulary. Practice with AI to build confidence. Speak early with people. Immerse yourself. Connect the language to your hobbies and passion. And that's it, guys. These were the 5 steps to learn any language in 2026. See you in the next video, guys. Peace.